Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
For writers and public personalities, it's becoming increasingly important to have an online presence. This normally takes the form of a website and social media. However, things like a cluttered site or broken links can scare potential readers away. It's time to get a health check. Until the 30th of June, Black Wolf Editorial Services is offering a special website health check package. Get a new bio for your site. Have the site navigation and general layout assessed. Get a review of your Twitter activities. Get an objective opinion about your public Facebook page. Find out what works well and what could potentially scare your readers away. And all this for $35. At the end of the day, the face we put online will be the one that most people will see. Let us help you put your best foot forward. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For full details and a list of other services, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right, this is Jessie. I am so happy to be back here with you guys. I do miss you when I'm not talking to you. Now, if you are just getting out of work, just tuning in, just getting out of school, whatever, and you are tuning into K98 Talk, you need to know there has been a major terrorist attack in Turkey. Yes, I said major terrorist attack in Turkey. I had another show planned. I am working on bringing you the details, and I will do it to the best of my ability, as you well know. I always do. The best that I can bring you about everything. Now, let's go over the very basics. Nobody has yet taken responsibility, although everyone is already screaming ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. There are two potential groups that was most likely. The Islamic State or ISIS or Daesh, whatever you want to call them, or the PKK, which is an extremist wing of the Kurds that is often attacking the headquarters in Turkey. All right, I've got some audio for you. Let's take a listen while I get a few other things pulled up. I am kind of flying fast on this one because it is breaking news. This story is 3 hours old. So this is very much changing, a rapidly changing and evolving situation. I will do my best to stay up and roll with it and roll with the punches. That's why I waited an hour before coming on air, so I could get you the appropriate audio. All right, here we go.
Turkish officials say 2 suicide bombers opened fire before blowing themselves up at the entrance to the main international airport in Istanbul, killing more than 24 people and wounding many more. Police tried to stop the attackers before they reached a security checkpoint at the Ataturk airport's arrival hall. But it was too late, and officials said they blew themselves up. Ataturk is Turkey's largest airport and a major transport hub for international travelers. Turkey has suffered a spate of bombings this year, including 2 suicide attacks in tourist areas of Istanbul blamed on Islamic State, and 2 car bombings in the capital Ankara, which were claimed by a Kurdish militant group. Turkey, which is part of the U.S.-led coalition against Islamic State, is also fighting Kurdish militants in the country's southeast.
All right, that's the overall facts. There's a little more in the article that I'm going to read to you, which is from Reuters, as was that audio. All right, 3 suicide bombers, and this story has changed and evolved as they get more information. So I'm trying to change with it. I'm reading this new version for the first time. All I'm going to ask is you bear with me and roll with the punches. 3 suicide bombers opened fire before blowing themselves up at the entrance to the main international airport in Istanbul, Turkey on Tuesday, killing 28 people and wounding dozens more. That's according to the provincial governor. Now, let's stop here and talk about this. The initial reports, if you've got old reports on your phone that said 10, it said 60, there's a number of numbers floating around. All right, I'm going to go over them all with you. I'm going to break them down. You know I always do. Let's finish the article, and then we'll get into the details, all right? All right. So, back to the article. Police fired shots to try and stop 2 of the attackers just before they reached a security checkpoint at the arrivals hall at the Ataturk airport. This is Europe's 3rd busiest airport. To give you an idea, it would be as if Atlanta or Chicago airport was attacked. That's the size and scope of this airport. But they blew themselves up. That's according to a second Turkish official they didn't name. Istanbul Governor Vasip Sahin told reporters that 28 people have been killed and around 60 wounded. Several witnesses reported 2 explosions, but Sahin said authorities believe there may have been 3 suicide bombers. There was a huge explosion, extremely loud. The roof came down. Inside the airport, it is terrible. You can't recognize it. The damage is big, said Ali Tekin, who was at the who was at the arrivals hall waiting for a guest when the attack took place. A German woman, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce, who was at passport control entering Turkey, said she threw herself on the ground with the sound of the explosion. Several witnesses also reported hearing gunfire shortly before the attacks. Everyone started running away. Everywhere was covered with blood and body parts. I saw bullet holes on the door, she said, outside the airport. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack, the latest in a string of suicide bombings this year. But the Dogan news agency said the initial indications suggest Islamic State may have been responsible, citing police sources. A Turkish official said it was too soon to assign blame, but the attack bore similar similarities to a suicide bombing by the Islamic State militants at the Brussels airport in March, which killed 16 people. A coordinated attack also targeted a rush-hour metro train, killing a further 16 people in the Belgian capital. All right. Now, let's discuss why I think they're right when they say Islamic State. For those of you who don't keep up on the world of terrorism, and I don't expect you to, that's kind of my job. This is the second anniversary of Islamic State announcing their caliphate, or in other words, announcing that they are, according to them, this militant group is now the head authority for all Muslims in their eyes. That means the state's significant. Terrorists like to pick dates of significance if they can. A Turkish official says the vast majority of dead in Istanbul airport attack were Turkish. There have been no reports of Americans injured or killed at it. But it's like I said, this is a very fresh news story. Things are still unfolding. So, all right. The report was at the entrance to the Ataturk Airport International Terminal. A terrorist opened fire with a Kalashnikov and then blew himself up. And this is according to comments broadcast by CNN Turkey. The state-run Anadolu agency said 6 of those wounded had sustained serious injuries. Ataturk is Turkey's largest airport and a major transport hub for international travelers. Pictures posted on social media from the site showed wounded people lying on the ground inside and outside one of the terminal buildings. All right. Now that we've started there, the head of the Red Crescent, the flights have been halted. The head of the Red Crescent, Kerman Kinik, said on CNN Turk that people should go to blood donation centers and not hospitals to give blood, and called on people to avoid main roads to the airport and to avoid blocking paths of emergency vehicles. Now, let me explain why he wants him to go to blood donation centers and not hospitals. Do hospitals need blood? Yes, of course they do. Especially after an attack like this, of course they do. But right now, the hospitals are dealing with the wounded. They don't have time to take your blood. A blood donation center is strictly set up for that. So that's why he's saying, go here, not there. As far as main roads and avoiding main roads to the airport, come on, do I really need to explain that one? Authorities halted takeoffs of scheduled flights from the airport and passengers were transferred to hotels, a Turkish Airlines official said. Earlier, an airport official said some flights to the airport had been diverted. In the United States, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey reacted to the explosions by putting armed high-visibility patrols at the 3 major airports in the New York metropolitan area. Turkey has suffered a spate of bombings this year, including 2 suicide attacks in tourist areas of Istanbul, blamed on the Islamic State, and 2 car bombings in the capital, Ankara, which are blamed by the Kurdish militant group. The article just says Kurdish militant group. I'm going to tell you it was blamed on claimed by the PKK. And yes, that is a Kurdish militant group. If you're a regular listener to my show, you know that some of our Spec Ops Special Forces people, sorry, I'm using too much military slang, Special Operations Forces were photographed wearing Kurdish patches. It caused a bit of a spate between the U.S. and Turkey. So because they were wearing, Turkey doesn't like the Kurds don't like Turkey. Why? Because Turkey tries to kill the Kurds. So the Kurds do what I feel is human nature and fight back. I have not had time to delve into the details of this with you, and this is not the time to do so. All right. Now, there's another article that says 50 were killed in a suicide bombing at Turkey's airport. Give me a minute to pull it up, and I want to look over it. So, and this is from an Israeli newspaper, Israeli National News. 50 killed in suicide bombing in Turkey's Ataturk airport. So, according to this article, there were at least... According to this one, it said at least 50 were killed and dozens of others wounded in a terrorist attack at Ataturk Airport just outside of Istanbul in Turkey on Tuesday evening. According to the Foreign Ministry in Israel, there's no indication that Israelis were injured. Israeli passengers stranded at the airport following the attacks were taken to nearby hotels until flights renewed on Wednesday. The foreign, let's see, we don't need that information. Do we really want to broadcast the Foreign Ministry of Israel's emergency hotline? I think we'll pass. I don't think any of you are listening to me in Israel. If I start seeing listeners from Israel, we'll start broadcasting that kind of information. All right. The attack took place in the international departures area, according to CNN. Gunfire was also heard at the site was from Turkish security forces. I'm not sure all of it was. However, they say in confusion, some witness has told Reuters they saw gunmen opening fire from an airport car park. Footage has been emerged showing commuters taking cover at the airport in the aftermath. There's also footage that Fox News has showing the explosion, which appears to be someone who basically started filming a security camera from inside the airport, and the security camera was inside looking out. Turkey's justice minister initially told reporters that at least 10 people were killed in the attack, but senior Israeli officials told Turkey that the death toll is up as high as 15. The article says 50 in the headline. Who knows? It is a very fluid situation. More may die from their wounds. Turkey in recent months has been targeted with deadly attacks by terrorists from the Islamic State jihadist group, including suicide bombings as well as smaller-scale attacks by left-wing extremists. The country has also been rocked by ongoing insurgency with Kurdish separatists. It's not yet known who is behind the latest attack. All right. Now, what do we know? Precious little. I am working on checking right now on the news for any immediate updates. So bear with me for just a moment. Like I said, we have at least 28. According to Reuters, the death toll stands at 28. Alright, I'm looking. Please bear with me. because, like I said, I always like to bring you the most up-to-date information. While I don't have sources on the ground in this area as to why ISIS wants to attack Turkey, I can give you a couple of those reasons while I'm pulling up the articles. The short reason is Turkey is allowing the U.S. to use an air base there. Turkey is supporting our, so the U.S. has planes taking off from a southern Turkey air base, which I'm not going to name. You want other news sources have named it, you want it, look there. All right. So I'm going to bypass the statements by the political candidates. I really don't care about their opinion. I want the facts on this thing. All right. I'm going to play just one commercial while I see what I can pull, while I prep some audio I have downloaded for you guys. So we are going to take a very brief commercial break so I can get this audio pulled up for you. So you don't have to listen to me babble while I do it.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Alright, it's taking me just a couple seconds longer than I planned to get this audio, but I am working on it. Give me just a minute. I am working as fast as I can. Alright. In the meantime, we are just going to move on. There is much more about this attack. Let's see if I can just play it. I'm trying one more time to get this pulled in. I have successfully done it before. Like I said, I'm asking you to roll with me because I am literally covering a breaking news story. Alright, we will go to the audio that I have in just a moment. Right now it happens to be playing a commercial, which I am not going to subject you to. So, just... So I'm just waiting for this commercial to end, and then I should be able to start the audio for you. Alright, it's just being positively annoying. So we are going to just move on for a few more moments and see what else I can find. There's got to be more out here than these couple of reports. I don't like to leave you with just the bare facts. In other news, while I wait on the rest of this to sort itself out. Alright, The Guardian is also reporting 28 dead. So I'm going to go with the number 28. I've seen two different news sources who are not connected with each other using the number 28. So I'm going to go with the number 28. Alright, here's a Washington Post article I'm pulling up. Give me just a second. Gotta wait for the page to load, and I'm sorry, but you don't have any idea how stressed out my poor web browser is. I've got so many tabs open, they're just tabs. There's not even a hint which page is which. Turkey's suicide bombing at Istanbul's main airport are the latest in a string of deadly attacks in the popular tourist areas of Turkey. There were at least 28 killed and 60 wounded when 3 suicide bombers, so this article also says 3, detonated their vests Tuesday after exchanging gunfire. See, this article also says they were exchanging gunfire with police at Istanbul's Ataturk International Airport. Turkish officials said no group has claimed responsibility for the assault. Immediately after the attack, the United States State Department issued a travel warning cautioning American citizens about increased threats from terrorist groups. In March, the State Department ordered all non-essential diplomatic and military personnel to leave the U.S. consulate in the southern city of Adana and the nearby Incirlik Air Base. Those are in Turkey. A number of attacks on civilians have hit tourist areas since the Islamic State launched its first operation targeting Turkish civilians. Targeting Turkish civilians in January. Other attacks have been carried out by radical factions of the Kurdish separatist movement since relations deteriorated last year between the Turkish government and the Kurdish Workers' Party, or PKK. Alright, now, let's see if this is going to play nicely for me. I am again trying to load another series of audio. So, alright, I will be playing it straight from the web. I will do my best to make sure the volume is nice and loud for you. This looks like raw footage of ambulances arriving. There are scenes of carnage and chaos. I don't think there's going to be any real usable audio, so I am going to stop it now. I was trying. Let's see what else we can find. Alright, while I'm looking for stuff on Turkey, the Benghazi report came out today. At least the Republican version did. The Democrats also put out their own report. Does this surprise anyone? Really? Really? I have not had time, due to the bombing in Turkey, to read the full Benghazi Committee report. However, according to the news conference earlier with Trey Gowdy, he said it was about 4 Americans, not one person. As in, As in, this isn't
to investigate, and it is.
So, all right, and I actually do agree with him. I don't believe that the Benghazi report is political, at least from what I've read about the way about Trey Gowdy has been running the investigation. He wanted to know who was where and what were they doing. He wanted to know what your role was. He didn't care what party you were from what I could tell. Now, that may not be accurate, and I am going to attempt to read the entire report tonight and give you my thoughts on it. Either tomorrow or, depending on what I've got going on, it may be a Saturday Slowdown episode, but I will get it to you. So, I am working on getting this audio. Alright. Alright, let's see if this audio will play for you.
It is always better to be the first committee to investigate, and it is always better to investigate as contemporaneously to an incident or to an event as can be done. Our committee did not have the luxury of either one of those. We began a year and a half after the incidents, but collectively and individually, all 7 of us believed that there were more questions to ask, that there were more answers to acquire, more witnesses to interview, more documents to access. And this report validates that belief. There is new information on what happened in Benghazi, and that information should fundamentally change the way you view what happened in Benghazi. And there are recommendations made to make sure it does not happen again.
And I think that if you will read the report, that you will see, as the chairman mentioned, that what was going on in Washington at 10:08 when the secretary made her first comments, we had men on the roof at the annex trying to protect their lives and the lives of the others Americans in Benghazi. If our fellow citizens will read this, they're going to come up with their own opinion of what happened, because there's enough new evidence that I think that people will be able to put together for themselves exactly what led up to this attack, what went on during the attack, and then the post-attack when there was so much misinformation that was being repeated by this administration.
At 10:08 that night, with Tyrone Woods still on the roof of the annex fighting for his life, Secretary Clinton issues this statement, the official statement on Benghazi, the official statement of our government that evening. Some have sought to justify this vicious behavior as a response to inflammatory material on the internet. We know that statement was misleading because an hour later she told her daughter, terrorists killed 2 of our people today. The next day she tells the Egyptian prime minister, we know the film had nothing to do with it. It was a planned attack, not a protest. And maybe the best example is from the 14th. Same day Mr. Rhodes issues his talking points. But that day we have Mr. Carney at a press briefing saying this, no information to suggest Benghazi was a pre-planned attack. No information to suggest a pre-planned attack. That same day, State Department official in Libya says this, Benghazi was a well-planned attack. You couldn't have a starker contrast than those 2 statements.
This was attack by radical Islamic terrorists on an American facility. There was no fog of war. There was no dispute, save for a few stray news reports. The evidence was very clear. Go read what Secretary Clinton herself said. Go read the words from other officials who were on the ground that night, communicating back to the most senior levels of government what had transpired that night. It wasn't about a YouTube video. It wasn't about a bunch of folks out for a walk. And when Secretary Clinton said, what difference does it make? We can now, as a result of our work over the last year and a half, tell you exactly what difference it makes.
But what we didn't know until this investigation was that the State Department made a conscious decision to keep the Benghazi compound off the radar and not provide it the security that it needed.
At the end of the day, no military assets were ever moving toward Benghazi. The bottom line is that Washington failed to have our guys' backs when they needed it.
All right, so as you heard there, the Benghazi report basically said that the State Department was trying to keep the Benghazi thing off books, off the radar, and that's why there may not have been a larger military presence. All right, we're going to take our regularly scheduled commercial break. And before I do that, I am going to say the death count is now up to 31 in the Antaruk airport attack in Turkey. All right, we are going to take that commercial break now, and I will be back with you in just a few minutes.
For writers and public personalities, it's becoming increasingly important to have an online presence. This normally takes the form of a website and social media. However, things like a cluttered site or broken links can scare potential readers away. It's time to get a health check. Until the 30th of June, Black Wolf Editorial Services is offering a special website health check package. Get a new bio for your site. Have the site navigation and general layout assessed. Get a review of your Twitter activities. Get an objective opinion about your public Facebook page. Find out what works well and what could potentially scare your readers away. And all this for $35. At the end of the day, the face we put online will be the one that most people will see. Let us help you put your best foot forward. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For full details and a list of other services, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
All right, latest from Turkey. There were 3 explosions at Istanbul's Ataturk airport, killing at least 31, wounding 147 others. They are saying the death toll could still rise. Bazir Bozdag said that according to preliminary information, a terrorist at the international terminal entrance first opened fire with a Kalashnikov and then blew himself up. That makes 3 news sources that say he fired a weapon first. There is video of the purportedly showing the moment of one of the blasts that's out on social media. I am getting this information off theblaze.com, so if you'd like to see the videos, please go there. Another official said 2 attackers, later confirmed by Turkish state press to be 3 attackers, detonated explosives at the entrance of the international terminal after police fired at them. The official, who spoke on condition of anonymity in line with government protocol, said he was citing information from the Interior Ministry. It wasn't immediately clear why his account of the number of attackers was different from the Justice Minister's. The official said the attackers blew themselves up before entering the X-ray security check at the airport entrance. Okay, first, let's discuss why. Here in the United States, you go to the airport, you go in the door, you go to the kiosk or up to a counter, and you go get your boarding pass or whatever, or check your bag or whatever, and then you go through security. In Turkey, they have raised the level of security at their airport so that you don't even get in the airport until you and your bag are screened. This is very similar to how Israel does it, and if you'll note, Israel's never had a plane blown out of the sky or hijacked, at least not from the inside. The private DHA news agency said the wounded, among them police officers, are being transferred to the Baraköy State Hospital. Turkey has suffered several bombings in recent months. We've been over that. Let's give you some facts about the airport. It was the 11th busiest airport in the world last year. 11th busiest. It had 61.8 million passengers. It's also one of the fastest growing airports in the world, seeing a 9.2% more passengers in 2015 than 2014. So, all right. That is the latest that I have on the bombing in Turkey. And like I said, I'd prepared a completely different show, and I appreciate you guys rolling with me on the punches. I do try and bring you the most up-to-date information I can. Alright, I apologize. I am just skimming looking for a couple of other stories. Alright, here's a USA Today story. It's very brief. I'm going to read it to you. It's about Turkey and its vulnerability. Bombing at Istanbul's Ataturk Airport Tuesday is the latest in a growing wave of attacks. You've been over that. The growing terrorist threat heightens the risk of destabilizing a NATO member and critical U.S. ally in the war against the Islamic State. Remember, we use, since I've already said it, I'll say it again, Incirlik Air Base in Turkey to launch strikes against the Islamic State. So the Islamic State is striking back at Turkey, trying to get them to take away our privileges at Incirlik and other things. And why are the Kurds attacking Turkey? The Kurds are attacking Turkey because Turkey doesn't like the Kurds and keeps trying to kill them, and the Kurds want to live and essentially have sovereignty. Turkey considered the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad as a bigger threat than the Islamic State and was reluctant to cooperate closely with the United States, but more recently the government has helped U.S.-led efforts. Last year, Turkey allowed U.S. aircraft to fly from Incirlik Air Base to target militants in Iraq and Syria. Turkey has also increased efforts to prevent foreign fighters from moving through its borders into Syria. James Jeffrey, a former U.S. ambassador to Turkey, said Tuesday's airport attack has the markings of an Islamic State operation. He said it bears similarities to the attack in Brussels. One moment, I just lost my place. Like I said, my poor web browser is just absolutely maxed out here. I open any more tabs, I won't be able to find anything. Maybe I'll tweet out a picture of my tabs. Alright. Jeffrey James Jeffrey, a former U.S. ambassador to Turkey, said Tuesday's airport attack has the markings of an Islamic State operation. The target is international, and suicide bombers were used in the attack. ISIS has had a campaign against Turkey for the past year. Basically, once Turkey said, yeah, U.S. will help you, Islamic State said, excuse me. Islamic State said, not without a price, and they've been exacting their price in blood. Hundreds of people have been injured or killed by the wave of attack in Turkey. There have been at least 5 major attacks in Istanbul this year. Earlier this month, a car bomb targeted a police bus in Istanbul, killing 7 officers. In January, a suspected member of the Islamic State blew himself up near the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, a major attraction in the city. The blast killed 10, including 8 German tourists. The government identified the bomber as a Syrian. Turkey has responded to the attacks by arresting Islamic State suspects and battling the Kurdish Workers' Party, an armed separatists movement. The string of attacks has caused a big drop in tourism, a major source of revenue for Turkey. Many cruise ships that used to make port of calls in Istanbul are bypassing the city. Yes, even this attack will have economic repercussions. Alright. I'm going to check one more time for the latest on Turkey. I still see 31. Alright, here's a report from the AP. Let's see what it says. A senior Turkish government official has told the Associated Press all initial indications suggest the Islamic State group is behind the attack at Istanbul's Ataturk airport. The official also said as many as 4 militants may have been involved. Now, we're hearing 3 bombers. Why are they saying 4 militants? Suicide bombers are not sent out alone. They are sent out with a handler. A handler is someone who watches over them and can often detonate their vests for them in the event they suddenly decide to back out, change their mind, or save themselves. German Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier has condemned the attacks on Ataturk Airport in Istanbul. He said on the sidelines of an ecumenical iftar dinner, and this was at an ecumenical iftar dinner in Berlin, that he's shocked by the news. He says the background of the attacks is still unclear. Everything suggests terrorism. We grieve for the victims and the relatives. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says officials are still trying to figure out who attacked the Ataturk airport and exactly what happened. He said this is daily fare, and that's why I say the first challenge we need to face is countering non-state violent actors. Hundreds of passengers are flooding out of Istanbul's airport. I'm looking through a timeline here. Alright. I know I haven't been on the air that long today. It is 1:45. I am going to switch topics. We're going to take a 1-minute commercial break. I know I'm bombarding you with commercials, but that's what happens when I'm trying to pull audio and tell you the latest on any story at the same time. So, like I said, I had another show completely blocked out, and just moments before I went on the air, actually about an hour before I went on the air, this happened. So I always like to be as up to date with you as I can. Now, we do have, let's take care of a little of K98 talk business while I'm waiting on something to load. We have a new show airing tonight immediately after I get off the air. So you will have me. Tonight you will have Wen's World, WNZ World. He's a new syndicated radio host who has decided to join the K98 family. His shows will, of course, be able to be heard on K98talk.org and on Spreaker. We may get him on iTunes in a little bit, but we got to wait until he gets about 10, 12 episodes under his belt. I don't like to put anything up on iTunes till it's got that many. By the way, for the record, K98 shows available on iTunes in their own feeds. Jessie's POV, America Off the Rails, JD and Stacy. And Grouchy's The Conservative Curmudgeon. Yes, all of those shows are available in their own downloads. Yes, that means you can actually go subscribe, get it as a podcast, it'll automatically download for you. So, have fun, enjoy, and please subscribe to all of our feeds. We love you as listeners. We want you around. All right. Let's go back to the Benghazi thing. The Benghazi report. The Benghazi report was marked with a number of things. Each side was calling the other side partisan. Each side was calling the other side names. There was a reporter who actually attacked Trey Gowdy today at the press conference, and Trey Gowdy looked at him and said, "Have you read the report to see if it's political?" So, he's like, "No, I didn't write this to attack the former Secretary of State. I wrote this report to give you the information that we discovered." So, and I, for one, will not, I will work on trying to get the report read tonight, and we can talk about it in more detail tomorrow. All right, let's take a quick spin through my mailbox, as there doesn't seem to be any new updates on Turkey. I can always find something in my mailbox to talk about. So, give me a minute to get my mailbox pulled up. And for those of you who have been hiding under a rock, just to sum up part of yesterday's show, China and Taiwan are at it again. Oh yeah, China and Taiwan. Please go back and see the show for full details. Alright, let's see. I am skimming through my email. Let's just briefly touch on the Brexit. They have to initiate Article 50 of the European Union, and other foreign leaders are going, "We ain't going to talk to you until you do it," not even informally. So the other members of the European Union are trying to make this as challenging as possible. All right. This article I've got to share. This came out yesterday in the Washington Post. Revamped U.S. training program with new goals has trained fewer than 100 Syrians so far. U.S. military officials are considering ways to ramp up the training of Syrian fighters. Now, if you are a regular listener to my show, you realize that there were weapons that were sent over to support the Syrian fighters and other groups we like over there. And a large number of them promptly found their way to the black market. Some of them have even been used to kill. So, alright, what else is in my mailbox? Turkey is not the only country that has been hit by bombs in the past couple days. Yemen, and this is as of yesterday, because these news summaries hit my email box around midnight. As of June 27th, there was triple bomb attack claimed by the Islamic State group that killed at least 35 and injured 24 in Yemen's southeastern city of Mukula. The militants struck at Senside as soldiers were preparing to break their day-long fast during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The attacks involved a suicide bomber, a car bomb, and an improvised explosive device. They basically turned a car into a bomb. Alright, just got a couple more minutes here. Eight suicide bombers attack a Lebanese Christian village Monday, killing 5 more people and wounding dozens more. This is a violent spillover of the 5-year-old Syrian war into Lebanon. And Cameron hands the task of the EU divorce to the next Prime Minister. And the EU saying, we may drop English as the official language after the Brexit. Alright, let's see. One more quick check of my news. Alright, let's pull this. I want to pull up the story on the bombings and see if there's any new information. Alright. No. Alright, rather than drag you through me trying to check my mail and fill the last little bit of time I have, what I'm going to do, I think, is the better part of valor here. I am going to throw you a parody song, and we are going to get up on out of here, because guess what? I don't have much more to say, and I did start a bit early. Actually, I think we're just going to skip the parody. I've been on the air for 58 minutes. I'm going to call it. Thank you for hanging in with me today. I know it was a bit of a rough show. I was trying to play breaking news reporter without all the backup that your major reporters that you listen to all the time have. All right, so I'm out of here.